Hi, this is Joni from Mind, Body, Home, Growing into Health, and I'm really excited today to introduce you to Jason Samel, who's going to talk about his trauma and transformation and his new business called Buddha Jams. Now Jason, he's an activist, a writer, a musician, award-winning record artist, a concert and festival producer. He's the owner of an insurance brokerage and consulting company and a veterinary hospital. He's an entrepreneur. Jason Samel has now orchestrated what he says is the most powerful part of his journey. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Joni. I'm so psyched to be here. Thank you for having me.
I know. When you said you were coming and you said you would come on my show, I was like so excited.
I can't believe you asked me. I was like,
I know. I'm really excited. So let's talk a little bit about, I know we met about a few years ago, before the pandemic, and we were talking about healing, and we were talking about how you even had me on your show.
I did. And that was North Shore Now on WCWP Radio.
That was pretty awesome. And when Healing Headbands went on that show, I have a feeling that might have triggered, perhaps, in you, some aspect of your journey that you are on right now, because you are healing.
I am healing.
I love that. Yeah. I am healing. So, Jason, there's a lot to be said for the process and where we begin and the journey that we are on. Yeah. But I want to ask you a couple of things. Like, there was a moment where there was a switch, right? And you said, I need to change direction. I need to shift. And that shift came when you were by yourself, in a moment of reflection, and you said, this is what I need to do. Was it that simple, or was it?
No. It was in a moment of such utter depression and anxiety that I really didn't know what to do, and I had to pause.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that experience of trauma. Maybe you want to just...
Yeah. I went to a boarding school between the ages of like 11 and 14-ish, it's called the Summit School in Upper Nyack, New York. It's still in existence today. And I was abused at that school, physically, emotionally. I didn't remember that this went on my entire life. I remembered the last instance of being there, which was pretty abusive in itself, which put me in a hospital and left the school after that. I was hit over the head with a phone by the supervisor of the school, knocked out. But all I remembered my whole life was this last instance. I forgot about the 3 years of abuse that I experienced there. And most of my life, I feel, looking back on me, I didn't like that guy who I was. If I met that guy right now today, I probably might not befriend that guy. I probably a talented dude and has done some cool things, but the Jason of the past was really angry and was always very frustrated when he didn't get his way or he felt like he wasn't heard. Going back to not being heard about being abused as a child, right? And then during COVID, like so many other people, anxiety and depression really started to mount. And in just like one moment, a wild moment, I paused and I went outside my car and I sat down on the beach and I started doing this and breathing. And after about 15 minutes of doing that, this silly little childlike smile came on my face after being depressed for years. And never in my whole life did I feel a smile that genuine and good. And that was it for me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That is an amazing thing, because as you were doing that, I was like ready to do that with you. Can we do it together?
Let's do it. Ready?
All right, ready?
Breath in.
Breath in.
Arms up. Breath out, hands to heart center. One more time, arms up. Hands to heart center, breath out. Feels good, yeah?
Feels amazing. And that
Yeah.
immediately brought me back to center. So sometimes we find ourselves far outside of ourselves, and we need to be reeled back in, right?
Yeah. How often do we take the time to be with that amazing freaking breath that brings us so much power?
Right, and in that moment where you found your breath and that smile came on your face,
Yeah.
like that, you have the best smile.
Thank you.
Your face just lights up.
Yeah.
I want you to look into the camera right now and just smile at everybody. Exactly.
I'm just thinking about yoga. I mean,
Yes.
that's what I'm thinking about when I do that.
And a
yeah.
perfect way to talk about Buddha Jams. Now,
Sure. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Buddha Jam.
Where do I start?
Where you began, when it opened. What was your grand opening date?
Sure. So grand opening was I think it was mid-June. I think it was June 18th-ish.
Okay.
Was our grand
2022?
opening. 2022. Yeah, we had a great grand opening. It was indoor and outdoor. We had DJ Johnny Juice of
Juice.
of Public Enemy, the hip hop group Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So
very cool.
he was a DJ for them. He played, and then a jazz trio with this awesome guitar player Dave Berg. Played outside. That was really cool. We had a huge drum circle. The mayor, city council members were drumming with us.
I love it.
It was so super cool. Yeah, and then we had yoga class outside. There was like 20, 30 people there. It was outstanding. It was amazing.
Congratulations on
Thank
the grand
you.
opening.
Good.
Buddha Jams is now like what I would call your home, a place you can call home.
Yeah.
It is also, you're building a home for them
Yeah.
as well.
It's for us.
Right, it's a community
Yeah.
of like-minded people
Yeah.
that do multiple things, right? Not just yoga, right?
It's a music venue. It's a concert venue. We have drum circles. We've had 4 concerts in the past 4 months. Awesome concerts. We have really big workshops with sound bowls, and we have. We even sell like really cool djembes that I imported from West Africa there that have our logo engraved in them.
Very
They're
cool.
custom made. They're really cool. All sorts of percussion instruments. It's a funky place.
yeah, and if you could see this
it's a
wonderful
place for like
logo, look at that.
Thank
Look
you.
at that great logo. You had someone actually, you must have put that together. You're so good at that.
No, I had a great designer, George Panagakos, put this together.
Oh, fantastic,
Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
Great job, George, for the design
George
of Buddha
is
Jams.
awesome.
There's something at Buddha Jams for everyone. And if you haven't experienced Buddha Jams, just go through a walk through, because I'm sure, Jason, you'd give them a nice tour. Of this
Oh yeah, we love giving the tour.
Okay, so give us a little like imaginary tour of Buddha Jams. We walk in.
Like a couch is like this really cool, what do they call them? Arabic couch that's like on the right-hand side, sort of on the floor, right?
Like an harem, pillows
It's like-
everywhere.
yeah. It's so cool, and like everybody's really just chilling on the floor, so that's fun. And there's a library right next to it, and then there's a stage, which is the receptionist desk, is the stage.
I mean, belly dancers could come out of nowhere all of a sudden.
Belly
I'm just saying,
dancers?
I don't know.
We had a belly dancer
Did
at
you
the
really?
last concert.
Okay,
You
that
should have
would've
been
been
there.
cool.
It's 4,000 square feet. It's like this huge rectangle. It's pretty much all open. There's a couple of bathrooms, a treatment room, my office, 2 stages, 5 sound systems, 7,000 watts of sound.
Do you hear this, people? I mean, like we have
And
an
lots of
opportunity.
music instruments, drums and keyboards and
So
really
if
cool
if
stuff.
you're just starting, like if I'm just starting out, let's say I want to like test run some kind of workshop there.
We
would you-
we offer a free yoga class. I teach it, and then one other teacher teaches it 4 days a week. A free half-hour class.
That's amazing.
During the nice days, we teach it outside in our outdoor studio.
When it gets cold, we don't want to do that.
No, that's when we do snoga.
Snoga.
What do you mean? Yeah, you got to try snoga. You're gonna
I've
come
never
there.
tried. I have
I'm
never
gonna
tried.
rope you
You
into
can
that.
totally reel me in for
Yeah.
Snoga. Not.
It's cool. It's so much fun. Snoga's amazing because like you usually get through your practice and like you feel good about it, but then like try getting through your practice in the freezing cold and then like at the end of it you're like realize I was in my breath, I was in my body, I didn't feel the cold the whole time. Like I'm out of Savasana now. Like now I'm freezing, but like the whole time you just go into this meditation and like you don't even like notice it so much. It's cool.
Because what you just brought to me, like coming out of your mind, getting out of your body, and just being in your breath.
Yeah.
And not feeling the cold sounds like a perfect scenario for me because I don't do well in cold. I'm like a bear. I literally go into the
I used to be afraid of it too.
I go into the cave.
Yeah.
I eat.
It's changing language and mindset, right? So like one of the things that I did with my kids, I didn't learn any of this from anybody, right? I actually just was practicing yoga every day at the beach and I never wanted to stop. So I did it all throughout the winter and figured out eventually that like, when I go into a meditation in the freezing cold, I don't feel the cold. And I didn't know that. So then I brought that to my kids, right? And like, if the kids take too long of a shower, right? The shower goes cold, the hot water runs out. I taught them to say yay cold.
Yay cold.
Yay cold, because it's changing our mindset.
Can we do that?
Let's talk about like, being ice cold weather, instead of saying ice cold, freezing, shivering weather, no. Let's say, wow, that's really refreshing air.
Wow.
Right? Let's change the language, change the mindset, and then I think that we could better handle any situation that comes our way if we change the way we speak about it.
Well, it takes time. It's not an overnight thing. To get really centered in oneself, to really understand where your mind goes when it's off in 100 directions.
Yeah. My kids, I'm thinking about my marriage, I'm stressed out about this, about that. It's like, it's constantly going.
But when you learn to reel yourself back in, starting with the breath.
Just a breath.
Just a breath.
It's
people.
just,
I mean.
How many times do we do that when we're really frustrated or anxious? Like we do that naturally. We say, oh, like we do that. Why don't we do that purposely?
Didn't our parents say, count to 10?
Just take a deep breath. Calm yourself down. They were trying to teach us to meditate. They didn't even know it.
They didn't even know it. Well,
yeah.
It's those little moments where you may just be ready to like go, like an emotion comes up, it rises up, and you want to maybe get upset, angry, or frustrated. That is exactly the moment you can train your brain to trigger and turn into like a breath and a very simple smile. We can put a smile on our face because it starts with this like breath and then the smile. I love that.
Right? Smiling increases serotonin and dopamine, right?
And all of them. There's 4 major ones: serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins.
Yeah.
Don't forget that one.
The endorphins is the high one, right? That gets you like really excited.
Really excited.
Yeah.
So this is very important. We're breathing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
We're breathing. Right now. Right? Doesn't look like we're breathing. Doesn't look like you're breathing right now. Are you breathing?
I am.
Oh, good.
I had to check because like sometimes I hold my breath, but yeah.
Take a moment and do that. Let's
I
experience
just did. Right?
Yeah.
Everything stops. Everything stops.
Fascinating.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
That was the first thought that came to mind. I'm sure I could think of a million other things to describe it, but the first thing that came to mind was like first I'm breathing, right? I'm doing something when I'm breathing. I'm still doing something, but if I stop the breathing, my breath stops. Sort of everything just takes a pause, and like, that's nice. Because how often do we do that?
Exactly.
How often do we just stop? I know for me, because of my trauma, I rarely stop unless I'm doing that. So yeah.
So this transformation, this time for you, this journey, to be surrounding yourself with such incredible people, yoga instructors, Reiki instructors, musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, you are in such a great place.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's
and
amazing. It's magical every second of the day.
So this is where the mind, the body, and the home come together. Mind, body, home. Here we are experiencing it in this moment, how we're able to take the power of our brain, our mind, our thoughts, and shift that to our bodies, not anything outside of ourselves, and then create a place that we can call home, and then we take that and we move that outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
So when you are sharing your home, have created a beautiful space for people to come to that you call home, and you want that to be part of their life as well.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is the time of the show that we're going to talk about a segment that I call I Got a Guy. I got a guy. You got a guy? Jason doesn't think he's got a guy. He's got...
I got a gal.
You got a gal. Let's hear about it.
Do.
Tell us about it.
The name of the company is Meta 180 in Oyster Bay. The name of the owner and proprietor of it is Constance Kroll. Constance is a healer. She's also a yoga teacher. But she's the most magical Reiki healer I've ever experienced in my life. Is a matter of fact, Buddha Jams would not exist if it was not for Constance. In the middle of a Reiki treatment, she's just sitting there, like, I'm just really relaxed and feeling so good. Out of nowhere, I like pop up like giantly. My eyes open wide. I'm like, Buddha Jams. And she's like, yeah, Jason, Buddha Jams. You lie down and go and think about that. And I did. And like, she continued the treatment. I left there, and I'd been looking for a place for a yoga studio. That same day, I was driving around in an area of town that I don't normally go to all that often, and I drove past this space. I'd been looking for a space for a yoga studio forever, and I did not see that this place even existed.
Yeah. And
saw it. And it was everything and more that I could ever dream of. It looked horrible when I first saw it, but like, I saw it. It was like I could see everything the way it would look in the end in there, and it all came together. That's all because of her Reiki treatment that she gave me. And then she also helped me work through a lot of that trauma we talked about earlier in like the most magical of ways. So that is my gal. I got a gal, and it's Constance Kroll. All
right. So if you want a transformation, or if you want some magic to happen, let's go. We'll give you that information at the end of the show, and you can certainly contact Constance Kroll at your convenience. Yeah, if you want some magic to happen in your life. Just wrapping this up a little bit, I wanted to ask you a couple more questions for the audience. Where can we find you online? Where can we find Buddha Jams? And maybe you want to give us a little further information on what's coming up down the pike.
Stuff that's coming up, like I said, we have like 29 classes a week. We just added kids yoga. We have a bunch of amazing teachers. We're planning on a lot more concerts. We have a lot of really cool concerts coming up.
I can't wait. I can't wait to receive all that information. If you want to sign up for anything, just go to thebuddhajams.com.
That's it.
And then sign up for your newsletter or some kind of way we can find
email list or whatever.
You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook.
We're on Facebook. We got the Twitter. We're doing all those things.
And of course, word of mouth is everything, because if I'm in a class and I had a great experience, I'm going to tell everybody.
Please tell everybody. It would be helpful. Thank you.
Tell everybody. And then you get to meet this wonderful gentleman here. So good.